Yesterday, the news broke that Gina Carano is suing Disney and Lucasfilm. This news broke not from a press release, but from a tweet from Gina Carano's Twitter account. If you could post up that tweet, yeah. Alan, let's go through it, and then we're going to go through the complaint, and we want to get your comments. Gina Carano from @Gina Carano. Today is an important day for me. I am filing a lawsuit against Lucasfilm and Disney. After my 20 years of building a career from scratch, and during the regime of former Disney CEO Bob Chapek, Lucasfilm made this statement on Twitter terminating me from The Mandalorian. This is a quote on Twitter from Lucasfilm. Gina Carano is not currently employed by Lucasfilm, and there are no plans for her to be in the future. Nevertheless, her social media posts denigrating people based on their cultural and religious identities are abhorrent and unacceptable. Nothing could be further from the truth. The truth is, I was being hunted down from everything I posted to every post I liked because I was not in line with the acceptable narrative of the time. My words were consistently twisted to demonize and dehumanize me as an alt-right wing extremist. It was a bullying smear campaign aimed at silencing, destroying, and making an example out of me. The thing is, I never even used aggressive language. I shared thought-provoking quotes, pictures, memes, and occasionally I used my own words, not with aggression, but with respect and occasional comedy to keep the mood light in dark times. Look with your own eyes at what I posted and ask yourself, for example, where did I compare Republicans to the Jewish people in the Holocaust? I didn't. Ask yourself why they were calling me a racist. Was there any merit behind that or history of it whatsoever? No. Look at why I was called a transphobe for making droid noises from Star Wars. Beep, bop, boop was obviously directed to the online bullies and did not in any way denigrate transgender people. Were my questions about masks, lockdowns, and forced vaccines okay to ask and push the subject into the light? Should we have been allowed to publicly discuss these topics at that time without being harassed or censored? Absolutely. Hollywood says they support female representation and equal rights. Why then were my male co-stars permitted to speak without harassment and re-education courses or termination, but I was not afforded the same right to exercise my freedom of speech? Artists do not sign away our rights as American citizens when we enter into employment. I have spoken to all my co-stars since I was fired, and there is nothing but care and kind words between us. I respect their right to free speech and do not have to think the same on every issue to be their friends and work with them, and I know they feel the same towards me. Pause for a second on that. Yeah. I respect I respect even when Alan has a crazy take. Alan will have a crazy wild take. Still respect Alan's viewpoint. If you could scroll up, Alan, starting with a couple of
okay, thanks.
What?
I'm just saying, technically my viewpoint is the correct viewpoint, but you're allowed to disagree with it.
I think people know from our tone that we joke around a lot with each other. We do like off camera, but that's true.
No, I mean, personally, my best friends are the ones I disagree with, and we spend hours at the dinner table constantly arguing, and we have a great time at it. And we see things from a different perspective because of that. Nowadays you're afraid to say anything because you just don't want to get into it. You don't want to get labeled as something, as opposed to just having a debate about something.
A couple months ago, Elon Musk tweeted that if you had been fired from using the platform X for exercising your right to free speech, we would like to offer these people legal representation. Quite the noble offer, but never in my wildest dreams would I have thought anyone would take on my case against Lucasfilm Disney. Still, I did respond back, I think I qualify, and thousands of people agreed, but I did not expect anything. To my surprise, a few months ago, I received an email from a lawyer who had been hired by X to look into my story and many others. Turns out, after sending them as much information as I could gather these past few months, my now lawyers and ex believe wholeheartedly in my case and are moving forward. I would like to express my deepest gratitude and thank you to Elon Musk and X for giving me the opportunity to bring my case to light. As for me, I would love to pick up where I left off and continue my journey of creating and participating in storytelling, which is my utmost passion and everything I worked so hard for. It has been difficult to move forward with the lies and labels stuck on me. Backed and encouraged by the most powerful entertainment company in the world, I am grateful someone has come to my defense in such a powerful way and look forward to clearing my name. Thank you to all the people who have supported me and made your voices heard. I pray God blesses each and every one of you. With love, Gina Carano. And then she posts the for inquiries regarding the case.
Yeah.
Alan, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, this is deep down, it's a political battle here. I mean, the idea that if they find out you're a Republican or a conservative, you are somehow no longer allowed to have a job, and you're no longer allowed to earn money because someone disagrees with you. And this is the dangerous part of where this country is headed now. I remember when I first met you and I started working for Film Threat, and you and I were going somewhere in a car, and I remember thinking to myself, "Oh God, I mean, what if he found out I was a conservative?"
Really, you thought that?
I did, and
Oh
so
my
I started
God.
dropping a few hints here and there, and that's this has been my life for the last 20, 30 years. Where, because I do improv. I'm kind of in the community there, and I will say I'm always outnumbered in these situations. And before it used to be fun to talk about these things. It used to be fun to have the Democrat Republican debate and the jokes going back and forth and us going at each other. It used to be fun, and now it's deadly serious to where it's like I don't speak up because now it's like he voted for Trump. They don't even know that. They can't even, I never told people how I voted. They just assume I did. And now, there's talk of, can I really work with this person again? Can I be on stage with him? Do I feel safe? That's where we've come as a society. And this is exactly what's going on here. She expressed a political opinion and she got fired for it. I know Roseanne chimed in on it as well. She was expressing a political opinion and they gaslit her to the point where they fired her. I mean, look, there's a little more around the Roseanne tweet, right, but you knew that they were gunning for her at some point and looking for one thing that she said wrong or one misstep and then use that to fire her.
Well, I'll just say this. I grew up in a family that was very liberal, but by today's standards would probably be considered center right, which is weird to say out loud. And I've always been kind of just politically in the middle and looked at, I owe no allegiance to any political party. You have to earn my vote. And I have voted on one side of the aisle and the other. And usually what I do is I vote based on who I think is going to F things up the least. I'm not joking. Who do I think is going to screw things up less? This person. So I'll go that way. So that's kind of where I am. But I've always had friends who were religious. I've had friends who were conservative. I've had friends who are very liberal. I've had friends who are gay. I've, like all my life, I've had you've been around a Film Threat gathering, Alan. It's a very diverse group, and I mean real diversity.
We are Film Threat. You cannot say Film Threat is a conservative outlet by any means.
No, you can't. Especially, look, there are writers that are very liberal and good. I want all voices heard. Yep. I want to authentically hear different points of view. I've always wanted that. So maybe you just didn't know me that well, or we didn't know each other all that well personally.
Well, let's just say I always assume it because everyone I know from LA and Hollywood are staunch liberals.
Yeah, but I'm not. I'm like old school. And God, I remember when I worked at G4 and one of the producers was Christian. and people would complain to me, can you believe that this one guy's Christian?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's the problem? Like, I was like, and that is bad. How? Like, so they go to church and try to live good values. I don't like, what is the bad part of this? So it really bothered me because I saw, and even like I've been friends with, we had him on the show a couple months ago, Jeremy Kuhn, the director of There's a Disturbance in the Force. Jeremy's a Mormon, right? And we became friends. I met him at the Sundance Producers Conference in like 2005 or 2006. And we've been friends ever since. Like, oh, you made Napoleon Dynamite. And he was like really grateful that he read my festival book and whatever. I just don't care about that stuff. I also feel like, I don't understand, which I guess is maybe more of a libertarian kind of viewpoint, is like, you do you, but you try to impose your values or impose your views on me.
Yeah.
We're going to have problems. And that's kind of where I've always stood. But
yeah,
this
I mean,
is
that's kind of where I stood as a conservative. I guess I take the term Republitarian, where less government, the better, and very much anti-war, especially the way we've been conducting it lately. And then also, I'll be perfectly honest. I like you. I had a diverse set of friends. They were gay, they were liberal, they were across the Mormon. They were Mormon, and that booted me out of the evangelical community. So early on in the 80s and 90s, I got kicked out of the right, and now I'm getting kicked out of the left. So there's, somehow I find a nice warm home here in the center.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, I think this, but we're going to go to your comments, then we're actually going to pivot and actually look at the legal filing. Let me just say, this is not about the money. For Gina Carano, this is not about the money. This is about reconstructing her reputation. And there was a recent video that surfaced of a professor schooling a student regarding the transphobia of J.K. Rowling, and the professor schools this student to, well, like, what did she say? There's a lot of these assumptions. This is how people speak, like it's okay. They just make an assumption about a person. I never do that. I like to get to know this person first, and we'll find where we disagree, and that's cool. But to put a label on people, don't label me. People try to do this to me all the time. That's why when I see this, it's annoying. I mean, there are articles about me that have false statements in them, that are complete lies, where all of it could have been corrected simply by doing a quick Google search. I even have a Wikipedia page, which is filled with opinion because there are people there who don't like me. It's mostly factually accurate, but not really. But bravo for Gina Carano. I want to see her win this case, but more than anything, I would like to see a pivot in her reputation. I want the people who canceled her to look in the mirror and say, you know what, maybe we were wrong. And if that comes from it, it's a lesson for everyone. It's a lesson for everyone. Slim Jim 491 says, did you guys see Elon's tweet on the Disney inclusion standards someone sent him anonymously? Yes, I have seen it. I actually have the graphic here.
Yeah, but let's just say it's a secret out in the open public.
It's an open secret in the sense that
you can get to it.
You can it's posted on a part of the Disney website. I actually grabbed the graphic, just zoom in on it. It's very small type because it's so long. But Alan, can you read this stuff? You can read it now, kind of.
No, I can't.
Sorry about that. But yeah, this is the Disney General Entertainment Content Inclusion Standards. It is such an ungodly long document. Standard A, on-screen representation. I'm just going to read this one. At least 3 of the following 5 areas need to be met to fulfill Standard A. A1, characters 50% or more of regular and recurring written characters come from underrepresented groups. A2, actors. 50% or more of regular and recurring actors come from underrepresented groups. Secondary characters, meaningful inclusion of underrepresented groups as secondary or more minor on-screen individuals, including background actors. Series premise: meaningful integration of underrepresented groups in overall themes and narratives. And A5, episodic storytelling, ongoing meaningful integration of underrepresented groups in episodic themes and narratives. Hey, go write your script. Go write your script. Hope it goes well. Then you've got other standards which are similar. It's similar in all of these for creative leadership. Below the line are like other types of jobs on a film or TV set. Here it's like the director of photography, composer, costume designer, editor, production designer, music supervisor. A lot of different roles that are below the line, which is below the line is not on camera. It's the industry access and career development. So, yeah.
I think it's just easiest if everyone just goes non-binary. Let's just let everyone, we're all non-binary. Let's all now get jobs.
Gina Carano wasn't fired. Her contract wasn't renewed, says Darth Scipio. That's actually not true. She was scheduled to be in season 3 of The Mandalorian, which was fully written. She was supposed to be the lead in Rangers of the New Republic, which was announced by Kathleen Kennedy. So she had by the way, the entire film industry is a freelance business. It just is. She's not technically a Lucasfilm employee, but there was a contract for other work. So that is incorrect.
Well, but the other thing also is that when they fired her, they made the statement that they don't work with racists and transphobe. So they basically labeled her as racist transphobe, and they essentially blackballed her. And so because of that, she was no longer able to get a job. So it's a lot more than just not getting your contract renewed. They destroyed her career afterwards, and that's what she's going after.
Yeah, more than just firing her, they sought to smear her and smear her name so she could no longer work in the industry. She was effectively unpersoned. It goes on. Look, I watched many videos last night going through the complaint. I looked at the PDF and went through it myself. They even took her name off episodes of The Mandalorian. Like, she's listed as one of the stars in it. They removed her name. It's like they wiped her from existence.